I had moldy rice at my apartment back in Indiana once. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I should probably clean this. And I opened it up, and it was just like...
ADHDan podcast. This is episode 3.
So, Colton, how's it going out your way in Erie?
Out my way?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was happy to get out of Johnstown. But... no, my way is... it's alright in Erie. Job allows me to be a little bit more creative. Get to do more fun stuff on After Effects.
Yeah, I saw you were doing some pretty cool promo type stuff.
Yeah, and it's so much better because like I get to like, okay, I'm creating all the stuff, like I'm just editing everything, but I'm also writing the scripts too. So that is the shots, the editing, the script. Like, yes, I had to get that stuff approved by certain people that rank above me, but it's still all me doing that and like overseeing the project, scheduling the talent, and doing like literally all the aspects of that production for that promo and putting it out. And I'm just really surprised that I'm able to do all that like as soon as like I came in. I thought I was going to be like, you know, they were going to restrict me a lot on doing stuff, and no, we
delivering coffee orders.
Yeah, but no, they're allowing me to be super creative, and I have a lot of freedom there.
Do you have your own office?
So, well, I share an office. That's fun, I guess.
No, but still, that sounds honestly like a dream type job. Like you have almost full creative control from start to finish, which is awesome. And yeah.
Let me back up a little bit. I want to get into kind of what got both of you guys into this business. I think it's something that a lot of people kind of overlook. Like you watch the news and you don't realize how much actually goes into it, and the pieces that you put together, people don't understand that there's like a whole department for stuff like that. Colton, we'll start with you. What brought you into this business, or just really this line of work?
Really, it all started like just back in high school. We had a great program in my high school that just completely devoted to doing like the school news and airing it every Friday. And we had a great class, and just being allowed to just take that every year throughout high school, it just made me love doing that more. Went to college for TV film production, went to IUP, did live sports production there, enjoyed it, got a great internship at a production company in Pittsburgh called Phenomenon Post. Learned so much there about how an actual production works, how they actually like schedule talent, schedule shoots, and how like I honestly didn't know that like the whole art of freelancing and being a freelancer, like I didn't like comprehend that whenever I was like in college. Like I just didn't. I was like, oh, okay, you know, you work for this company, we're gonna go film a shoot, and that's, you know, you get paid and you do that. But when I went to that production company, it was like completely, I was just blown away by like how much I learned there. Once I finished that internship there, I tried freelancing for a little bit. In all honesty, I wish I could have done better in freelancing, because I really didn't get the results I wanted. And I ended up working on one commercial shoot, and that was that. Once I realized that I really can't do any more with this, I was like, okay, I still live in like the Indiana, Johnstown area. Is there a news station nearby? Because I'm tired of working at Planet Fitness. I found a news station. I'll apply there and see what people say. And
got a call back. That's how I got into news.
So you were never in news prior to that?
No.
Now, high school, when you said you helped with, was it like the school?
Yeah, it was just school
channel,
news. It was just silly, like school news, trying to be entertaining for the student body type stuff.
Right.
My thought process right now, with after everything that I went through and failing at freelancing and going into news, is that I may not be overly excited about being in news all the time, but at least I am continuing what I went to school for.
Cool.
Like I am still actively like doing what I set out to do.
So what do you mean by failing freelancing? Like, do you mean?
I felt like I failed that just because like I was just caught off guard with how well you had to be prepared to just go out and be able to freelance and maintain connections and be able to just put everything together in that aspect. And I felt like I said on my end, that I failed at doing that, and people didn't take me seriously as a freelancer.
Do you think that helped you though, kind of, or at least direct you towards what you ultimately wanted to do?
I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I'm at the point where I know exactly what I want to do, because there's still a lot of questions in the air on what I want to completely do. But it guided me in the right direction. Like failing at that put me on the right path, and like I treat everything like a learning experience, basically.
No,
that's how you should.
That's exactly
it. Anything like, okay, freelancing didn't exactly go the way that I wanted it to go.
But like ultimately you wanted to do something with video, right? Something creative.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did
I
you
definitely
feel
wanted to
yourself
create stuff.
being like pulled in that direction, or was there a moment in your life where you decided that's what you wanted to do?
Why I wanted to do it so bad?
Well, no, like you started freelancing. You knew you wanted to do something.
Yeah.
With video, obviously, that's what you went to school for.
Right.
Obviously, there's a reason you wanted to go to school for that, which led to freelancing, and then you started working at Planet Fitness, and you still wanted to get back to video, right? Is that a reason? Why do you think? What is it about video? Like what? You know what I mean? What is pulling you towards that industry?
I just found something completely different that nobody else wanted to do, and I just absolutely enjoyed it. I liked the aspect of creating something and having people sit down and be entertained by it, whether they're booing it, cheering it, or crying about it. They're entertained by it. So
So you want to make people cry.
Make people cry.
Travis, same thing for you. So kind of from the beginning, like your background and when you first got into video.
I got 2 words for you guys. Digital blue. Have you ever heard of the digital blue?
No.
Digital blue was a little plastic camera.
Okay.
That I got for Christmas from my mom one year, and it came with this very basic video editing software, and it was basically a toy. It had, I think you could record up to a minute, and then you had to upload whatever you recorded to your computer and then clear the camera, this like little piece of blue plastic. And me and my friends would try to make full like half-hour movies with this little digital blue, only being able to record in 1 minute increments. So I remember like the one summer, like it took us like a week to film like this 8-minute video where we just had to keep walking down into the woods, film a scene for a minute, hike all the way back up. So yeah, that's when I really started just loving like filming video, or like coming up with these movie ideas, showing them to our parents, and like our parents were the only ones who would watch them or appreciate them. And
yeah,
so I took that, and then when I started thinking about what I wanted to do with my life, I ultimately wanted to be like a teacher or something along those lines, like working with children. But like I hit this certain point, I remember in college, my brothers were asked to do this commercial for my church, and they were filming this commercial, and they each got paid like $100 just for like a couple hours of work just to be extras in this commercial. And I remember thinking, I'm like, why? Like, if I can get paid for what I really want to do and love doing, why wouldn't I just pursue that? So like ultimately that's when I like kind of redirected the ship and started going towards like at UPJ I started taking communication classes, which there's some debate. Some people don't think communication is a real degree, but it's definitely not as difficult as some of the other ones. But
you only had to take one math class.
Right, exactly. That was one of the big things that I really loved about it. I hate math, and ultimately I think communication gives you a bunch of options for what you want to do, and you can get out of it what you put into it. And
right.
Like at UPJ, like I focused on the video side. Anytime we had a class project, I tried to incorporate video editing and stuff. And at UPJ here in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, let me tell you, if you edit any type of video, it blows everyone away because no one understood how to video edit back in like 2010, 2011. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And then eventually the news angle, like when I got out of college, obviously I applied to some places, didn't really get any jobs. I was working at Off the Rack in Ebensburg, waiting tables. And one night I got a customer who I was talking to, and he asked me, he's like, "Are you in college or what are you doing?" I'm like, "No, I'm just waiting tables. I graduated, last December." I'm like, "I'm waiting to find a job." And he's like, "Well, hey, I bartend down at this bar right next to WJAC, Channel 6 News." He's like, and a bunch of the reporters and anchors come in all the time. He's like, "If you give me your information, I'll pass it along." I didn't really think much of it, so I wrote down my name, my major, and like my phone number. And then I think like a week later, I got a call from Eric Grant, the chief photog at WJAC, asking me to come in for an interview. So I mean,
so you didn't even have to do like the online application?
I did, yeah. He said you gotta submit your application, he said, and then he's like, "We'll go from there." But
it's
basically,
like, man, Travis found a back door here.
Right.
No, but like, Travis, you brought it up like a little bit whenever you said like you bought that digital blue camera, and you wanted to make videos and show your parents, right?
Yeah.
Parent support, like that was a huge thing for me. Like,
yeah, you're right.
Whenever I told them, "Hey, I want to go to school for this, communications, TV, film production," my parents didn't argue against me. They didn't try and say, "No, you're going to go be a lawyer. You're going to go do this." They looked at me and said, "Okay, if you're going to go do something you want to do and something you love."
Yeah.
They completely supported me in everything that I wanted to do. And when both my parents backed me on like, "Okay, you're going to do this, then you're going to do it damn well."
So what about you, Dan? How did you get into it?
Well, let me ask you guys, have you ever edited tape to tape?
No.
Colton, have you ever tried it?
No.
So
I've never
my first editing experience. My first experience with a camera, now this is going to age me a little bit, was probably like 93. Yeah, I'd say like 93, maybe 94.
93.
That was my first experience with a sippy cup.
Yeah, well,
I was born.
You were born? Nice. Okay, so
93.
I mean, you might remember some of this, but we had relatives that gave us this VCR and a camcorder, and you had to take half of the VCR out and put it in this pack that you carried over your shoulder, and then you carried the camcorder over your shoulder, and it's like all this junk that you're just lugging around.
That sounds so much.
Oh, it was wonderful. I mean, yeah, it was crazy. But I didn't do any kind of editing at that time. That was just kind of what drew me to, shooting video and being able to capture a moment, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then it was like 99 or 2000. Now, you're probably like potty trained and stuff at that point. But
dude, I'm in kindergarten.
Okay, good, good. But that's when my parents got a VHS-C camcorder and like had the smaller tapes, and I'd record skate music videos, and that was like that's how it kind of started, and like trying to edit stuff together, and I'd have like that running into a VCR, and then if I wanted slow mo, I would pause it on the camcorder and just go frame by frame. And then when I figured out how to run a stereo through like
Oh, dude, I had a VHS-C. Oh, I looked it up. All right, yeah.
But then when I figured out how to run music in through the VCR through my stereo while the video was going, oh man,
Yeah.
I was the hit. Like the whole neighborhood was like, yeah, that's great. Dan's making these music videos, like skate videos. But yeah, I never looked at it as a profession.
Really?
Yeah.
You just looked at it more as like a hobby.
Yeah, I just thought my dad, he had a garage, like an inspection station, and he worked there for like 30 years. And he just busted his ass day in, day out. And I thought, like, that was just my idea of a job. I thought, you just find something that you have to do, you have to make money at it, and then you have your fun on the side. I never thought you could make money doing something that you enjoyed.
Okay, so you grew up. Okay, I see. All right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But it wasn't until like 17, maybe 2 years ago that a pretty close friend, when I was working a sales job, he was always just talking with me, and we kept having ideas like to leave and like businesses that we wanted to start. And I said, I can kind of do video. And then I ended up leaving sales a couple months later, did the whole, started my own LLC, just kind of did some freelancing. Long story short, I stole your desk.
You did steal my desk, and I'm still very salty about that because I had to. It was always such a pain to re-put in the CNN and the NBC passwords, and
I know. So tedious.
It's just such a pain. But yeah, I'm glad you came to Johnstown, and it was nice to have another cool guy be our.
I appreciate it. I mean, I'm the only one who's still like in the original position, in the photog position. You guys have both kind of moved on to different ventures.
Yes.
What do you think you learned from being a news photographer, not only in like the technical side of like shooting and everything, but just like in your own life? Do you think it taught you anything?
Oh, yeah. It taught me how to be patient with people who are very irritated with you and very quick to temper when you are just trying to get a news story.
Travis, are you... I don't know how much you want to get into this, but how are you happy with your move?
So yes and no. I do love the news station, and I love the people I get to work with day in and day out. I really miss the video side of things, and I never realized like how much I would miss it.
Yeah.
But like that being said, like I had to make a move. I had to like get a better schedule and maybe make like a little bit more money. But is this ultimately where I want to be? Probably not. Do I get to be as creative as I'd like to be in this position? No. So, yeah. Does that answer your question, Dan?
Well, okay, so let me keep going with that, and then I want to go back to Colton because I'm always curious to find this out. Travis, what would you say your ultimate goal would be? Like if you could say career-wise, this is what I would like to do until I retire, or...
Man, I don't think I've found that yet. I know what I like to do. I know that, like Colton said, I like to create things that make people feel something. As far as what that is, like, I don't know. I would be happy writing books if I got to just write stories that people read and enjoyed. Like, I would be happy doing that. I'd be happy. Obviously, anyone would be happy being like a Hollywood movie director. I think I'd be happy being like a creative director at an ad agency and like, you know, working on brands and logos and just like that whole process and like commercials and stuff like that. I don't think I've found what I necessarily want to do yet. I know it's out there. I'm not sure what it is at this point, if that makes sense. I just know that I enjoy creating, and even in like this new position, like I enjoy sometimes when I write a story and then I post it on Facebook and it gets like 200-300 shares and like people are commenting on it. Like I enjoy that. But yeah, I haven't found what I want to do yet. I know it's not here. It could be in news. It could be in the news industry. I'm not sure, honestly. What about you, Dan?
I really don't know. I know just moving to this industry, I guess, is like a huge step toward, like, I always say to my kids, I'm like,
I think it's definitely a step in the right direction.
yeah, because I say to my kids, I'm 35 and I think I know what I want to do. Like, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I'm 35, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like,
Right.
I've done a lot of things, and I actually thought about making a video about like all the jobs and positions I've held, just because for a while I would look down on myself because of how much I would like job hop. But now I look back and I feel like it really made me pretty rounded, and I can really connect with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happened for a reason. As far as what I want to do the rest of my life, my ultimate goal, I mean, so we have the Facebook page. I'm really recently been trying to grow that. And I mean, really to take it to a deeper level, I'm trying to get the videos monetized. I was trying to fight and go through YouTube, like move the audience to YouTube to meet their credential, their whatever their restrictions or stuff to monetize over there. But I just can't pull the audience. No matter what I do, either Facebook doesn't show all of the fans, or Facebook, like whatever. They would just rather keep the traffic on their site. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I mean, I'm learning a lot just with social media, but yeah, I think I would somehow like to be able to post videos and have those bring in income. And I'm not saying like be rich, but just enough to like even make what I make now.
Man, Dan, there's a huge audience for that, and like I think about it constantly. Like if I would have got in with Grayson even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, with all the toy review videos, like
Oh yeah, I remember you
like
talking about
kids
that.
love those videos, and you look at these random just toy review videos, and some of them have like 3, 4, 5 million views, and they get them consistently, and it's because I know parents probably don't want to admit it, but it's 2019. A lot of parents just hand their kids a phone.
It's a babysitter.
It's on YouTube, and the kids just watch the videos, and then the next video comes on, and they watch that the whole way through. And I think there's a lot of money to be made there. It's just tough when you're working a full-time job to have time for 2 full-time jobs, or it's like that's a whole nother commitment. And like, where do you find the time to really put all your energy into something like that? And I know I personally can't at this point, but yeah, that would be. I think there's a huge audience probably on YouTube if that's really what you want to get into. And I know you can make great money on YouTube too if you monetize it.
Yeah, but that's that's kind of my goal. Colton, you plan on heading to Hollywood? You know what I honestly see you doing someday? I see you having like a production house doing commercials for like Pepsi and Nike and all these big name brands.
I mean, if you see that, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, because I mean, you definitely have a passion for it, and I feel like you're somewhat OCD, and I mean that in a good way. So I think you have to have that in the business because, I mean, things have to be done right.
Things have to be done right, and like Travis talking about the toy review videos. Those are basically meant for kids who just get on YouTube and just watch toy videos, or they're on parents who really, or it's for parents who really want to know like the quality of the toy. So that's who that video, that's what that video goes to, that demographic of people. But in the general aspect of creating promotion for news, it's the viewer doesn't know what they want. It's that simple. Like, the viewer doesn't know what they want. And it's our job, and to the video makers, the photogs, the promotions, creative, anybody who's editing the video, to show the viewer what they want. Because they don't know what they want until they see it. That's how I look at promotion. And when it's not done correctly, or like the script isn't worded right, and you give away like what the objective of the script is in the first 2 seconds, then you failed.
Yeah, especially like in your line. Now with like me or Travis, obviously we're working kind of the final
Yes.
product, so we have to give the whole story.
Right.
But yeah, in your position, yeah, you have to kind of bait the hook and put enough out there that you're able to, you know, kind of spark some interest and get them to actually like set a timer on their phone to come back and watch it.
Right. But like even in news, like when you're editing video, there's still like a psychology way of editing the video. Like, okay, you put 2 of your best clips in first. Okay? And then
And how do you know what's a good shot or not, Colton?
that's all arbitrary.
It's all opinion. It's just now. Okay, so
If you have a feel, like, you got to have that feeling, man. I don't know how to describe it. I don't. But you look at something and it's like,
You know,
it just
know.
makes sense.
do you think someone that's like really well schooled, let's say for example, like someone who went to film school can say, oh well, that shot is good because of the composition and because of the lighting,
Right.
or do you think maybe there's like another level to that where it's like, no, that just like
I think there is. I think
more.
you can. I think you either have it or you don't, and I think you can, like anything, practice and put in the work and get to a point where you're like, oh yeah, we can light this well, you know, the shots and focus and stuff. But I think and I'm not saying I'm like, you know, super creative, whatever, but I think you'll never beat someone who just has it naturally and who can also light it and just somehow knows what looks good. Like, and it is all subjective too, which is crazy.
Right, it
I think
is.
it's just like it's a weird thing, like brain chemistry, and like you have someone who is, you know, the whole right left brain thing, and I'm not sure which is which, but one of them is like more logical and mathematics and that type of thing, and then the other is like more creative, abstract. And it is just weird how that works, in my opinion. And like I think someone who is more right or left brained, the more mathematic, logical side, just might not be able to, I don't know how to say this, but like might not be able to shoot a shot the same way as someone who is creatively inclined, in the same way that someone like me, who is terrible at math. I hate math. I'm not the most logical person.
But you are the expert cinematographer.
I'm not an
So
expert
that's-
cinematographer either, but like, yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated.
People
with
look
that.
at everything differently, and like it's going to be the same case whenever somebody picks up the camera, and like somebody will film something completely different, and they will either have an eye for it or they don't.
It's fascinating, yeah. And the person will shoot it, and I guess the audience decides, hey, that's a good shot, or they say, no, that's not a good shot. And what dictates that? I don't know.
Like the audience knows what's good and what's bad.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
the ultimate
audience
judge.
knows.
Yeah.
They're the ultimate judge. They know what's good and what's bad. But if you're going to film something in a different way, they'll never know if that's good or not if you don't do it.
Well,
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you stop doing like creative stuff and you just start going through the motions of doing stuff for the audience because you know it works, then you're just digging yourself a hole, and you're just
you're getting content.
going through the motions the entire time.
So
and
let me ask. Go ahead.
I really, really disapprove of that, because if you do that, that kills your work ethic, that kills motivation in the workplace. doing stuff like that, just going through the motions and just putting out like a so-so product. Like if I'm not constantly trying to do something better than what I've done, then I'm the type of person that I lose motivation.
I was gonna ask you, Dan, when you shoot something, how does your brain work? Like, let's get inside your brain. When you go into a room and you're shooting video.
For news or for myself?
Let's do news and yourself. Let's do news first, and then
news. I struggle with a lot, and I was actually just talking with Liz about this a couple days ago, and I feel like I really struggle with news because when I go out to shoot, it's something that somebody tells me to shoot, and I feel like I just can't force that passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially like VOs and like when you're just out on a scene or a car accident or a fire or something.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. You're right.
Those
like,
are never fun.
No, but I just try
Like, oh,
to.
did you get a soundbite of the family?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get a soundbite of the family. Their house just burnt down.
right. I
Like,
hated that.
And I think my approach for just like VOs is just, if I wasn't here, what are some things that I would want to see?
Oh, that's a good way. I've never really like thought of it
Yeah.
that way, honestly.
I
which is
think the
weird
same
to
way
say.
for weddings too.
Yeah.
Weddings, I think a little more detail, like the little details that typically the couple will miss during the day. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to get into, well, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
let's talk about it.
but with weddings, like the first one that I shot, I just did a video guest book for my cousin. And I went around during the reception and shot a bunch of the like little things. Like the one thing, they had fruits carved, and their names were carved out of the watermelon and stuff. And then when they went back and they saw the video, they said, we didn't even see that. So it was really cool to be able to capture a detail that the couple didn't even know happened during the day.
Right.
It's
I do want to get into filming weddings.
yeah.
I haven't really gone into it that much.
I'm not going to lie, like filming weddings, I've only done 2 and they were both for free. I would do it again, and yeah, I'd film weddings. That's fine. I just kind of got bored after this, like the first one, because I shot the first one, and then the next one was like pretty much the same exact just scenario where you go through, you shoot the flower, shoot the dress, get the groom standing around, get the groomsmen standing around talking to each other, get the ceremony.
Did you get audio when you did it, Travis, or did you just?
So we had terrible mics, so we didn't really have high quality audio. We just shot off
gotcha.
like our shotgun mic, which was terrible. And it would be better to have like good quality audio.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just not something like I feel like I could ever be like truly passionate about.
Right. It's
But
not for everybody. But yeah, I want to try it out. I want to see how I like it. Because I like I said, I'd never filmed a wedding before, but I see wedding videos. I'm kind of intrigued by like how people film weddings differently and how I would film it.
Yeah.
And then
And there's so much
piecing
that
it
goes into
together
the
is
edit.
like, yeah, because you got to tell the story of them, you know.
I will
getting married.
say it is incredibly rewarding when the couple whose wedding you filmed, you show them the video and like, you know, they tear up or they love
Yeah.
it, but I don't know.
You know what, on that, Colton, what I would recommend after you shoot the wedding and edit it, when you deliver it, try to watch it with them the first time. That's what I like to
Yeah.
do with all. There's only been one that I wasn't able to watch with the couple.
Yeah.
But then the one that I did in Pittsburgh, that was like September, I think, that like golf course, I wasn't able to go out and sit with them when they watched it for the first time, but they were nice enough to set up a phone
Oh,
in
really?
selfie mode and record themselves.
That's awesome.
And they sent it to
Oh,
me.
that's
And
cool.
it was like, I teared up watching them tearing up. Like, I don't know. I'm
See,
a sucker.
I feel like maybe I mean, if you start getting your own style and you're known
Right.
for the way you shoot weddings, I feel like that would be cool. Like Dan, obviously yours are incredible, the ones you've shot, and like I really think you could,
Especially
really
the
go a
latest
long
one
way
you did.
doing that.
No.
The
I
latest one you
appreciate
did, that one was really good. I really liked
Yeah,
that.
it was at the one at like the mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was incredible.
big. So actually, my cousin wants me to record her wedding. I think it's in April, and it's not paid because it's my cousin. But if you guys would want to help, you can.
Yeah, man.
It's actually, that's what I should work out with Colton. I'll be like, hey, you come help me shoot this for free, and then I'll help shoot yours for free. What do you think about that, Colton?
I like it.
We could do that.
But anyway, she jokingly one day said she wants it shot in the style of The Office.
That would be awesome. See, that would be
So
fun.
a whole day shooting like The Office.
That would be fun to sit down.
That's something different. That's really interesting.
Yes.
That'd be fun to sit
Yes.
down and kind of even storyboard and be like, we're gonna get these shots.
Yep.
Like that, I could see that being really
And
fun.
I have like all kinds of mics like that aren't wireless. It's just like a lav that you'd put on jacket or whatever, put in their pocket, and then it's just going to capture their audio all day.
That would be
the only thing that would
only
suck would be
thing-
syncing that later. What's that?
Right. The only thing is like doing something like that, which I think that's a like really good, interesting idea, is that when you're filming it like The Office, and because the main point of The Office is having people like sit down in like a separate room with just them and the camera.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't that camera friendly and aren't, they freeze up
Well,
once the camera turns on.
I
So-
know that completely, but let me say this. So my cousin is very outgoing, and
Right.
she works with a ton of theater people.
Right.
So I feel
It's a
like this
recipe
is the
for
alignment of the
success.
stars here. Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting.
Because these are all things that I've thought of, but
Right.
like I'm just thinking it would be nice to have more bodies to help me with it.
See, this is the stuff that gets me excited, is sitting down, talking about this, ideas like this, and then like how do we complete them? How do we make them the best possible way, and adding new stuff. Like this legitimately gets me excited now. Like it's a
Moxum
wedding,
Ninja.
Maxim didn't
but-
know.
No,
Well,
yeah, I know. It's still on
you
the shelf.
moved and you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But like, yeah, that would be awesome. It would be cool if there were like themed weddings. If every wedding you could film was a different theme, I think that would be incredible.
Yeah, maybe we. I feel like if this is something that we could really pull off, then it's something you kind of market to people.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys like?
And yeah,
What do you guys like?
If you like,
What are like the type of shows you guys
What if
watch?
we start. I don't even know. Just throwing stuff out here, but like you just start becoming known for like, hey, let's make your wedding as cinematic as possible, and let's kind of just come up with some. I don't know if people would go for it, but like some like little storyline we could throw in there, or like
to make like a movie trailer.
kind of something
Yeah.
like that would be cool.
Yeah.
But
Movie trailer weddings. Something else that I wanted to kind of talk about. Colton and I were talking a little bit the other day when we were doing a sound test, which clearly didn't work.
Clearly didn't.
Clearly did not work. But now I feel like this is pretty solid.
it sounds
I think
great.
so.
Okay.
I think.
Very good.
So, pricing. Being a freelancer, I find that this is one of the things that I struggle with getting into it. I still struggle with it. And I watch tons of videos of people who struggle with it. How do you value your work and put a price tag on it?
I have
Right.
no experience.
Like I don't know. That's still my like biggest fear and trouble is how do I like properly price everything that I'm using
Mm-hmm.
and then charge them accordingly.
Right.
I think you look at what other people are doing and charging and base it on that, honestly.
Right.
Because you can only really charge what the market allows.
Right.
But then again, some people are willing to pay. Like if you have very high quality stuff, people are willing to pay.
Right. People like the budget that people have, like what they're willing to pay. Like that's a whole nother element that I still don't know 100% about. Like
Well,
I
when
don't know,
I
Dan,
first
like, how
started,
do you
for
go
me,
about
when
pricing everything?
I first started really getting into it, Liz would give me so much trouble because I'd offer to do everything for free. For a lot of reasons.
how I
One, because I just wasn't confident. I just wasn't sure if I would even have a presentable product to hand over at the end.
Yeah.
And two, I almost felt guilty asking for money for something that I loved to do and would do on my free time anyway. But now that I've been in it for, I don't know, just about a year and a half, I think that, I'm feeling more confident about my shooting because I do look and compare it with other people. I look at what they charge. But then, like I said, I feel comfortable there and confident. But the one thing that I've been looking at more now, even if it takes me a few weeks to a month or so to finally edit something, since I'm working full time too, that's time that I'm spending away from the family. And even if I'm
Right.
sitting there editing in the living room while they're running around, I'm not present. So
No,
I
you're
need
not.
to really value that time. So I'm really to the point where I used to be the free guy. Now I think I'm going to go to the point where I might overcharge, just because if I'm going to do a project for someone, I want it to be worthwhile for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One of the nice things about doing projects for free, or like little to no money, first of all, if they are paying you anything, one thing that I've learned is they're paying you to learn how to do that. Or you could go to school and pay someone thousands of dollars to learn how to do it.
It's real world experience.
Working with clients is you are your own boss, but on the other hand, your client is your boss, because at
Right.
the end of the day, it's their products. That's what they want.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think that's one thing that I really love about just this whole business is you find something and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then it takes an additional 20 steps, but at the end you're like,
But you
kinda
learn
feel
something, and now,
satisfied.
I want to be doing more creative things. Like, I have like creative energy, especially just sitting here with like you and Colton. But it's like you said, like, how do you balance a full-time job and then trying
Right.
to do something creatively? And then, like, I have my son every weekend, and I feel like I'm taking away time
Yeah.
from him if I'm doing anything like for myself, because I work all week and don't see him. So it's like, how do you find the time? And then you just feel unfulfilled if you have these ideas that you're not acting on. And I don't know how to balance that.
Well, you talked about it a little bit. You talked about doing like the Santa Claus video with him. Why don't you start doing that? Because you
involving him.
Yeah, you talked
he hates
about
being on
like,
camera, so I feel like I'm forcing him to do something he doesn't want
Yeah.
to do.
because you talked about like doing the toy stuff before and you acted like it was too late. And I feel like that's another trap that a lot of people fall into too. It's like,
Oh, yeah, I know.
it's not too late. Like,
Well, it is too late for Bitcoin to get in on that train, though.
well, I mean,
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. You do think it's too late, and then 5 years later, you're like, oh, I should have got in 5 years ago when I thought it was too late. But
yeah.
What's the saying about the tree? Oh yeah,
Falling in the woods.
No, it's when is the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When is the second best time to plant a tree today? Did I butcher that? Is that right?
No, I think I
Is
got
that
it.
right?
No.
Colton, can you verify that?
Hang on. Best time to plant a tree
Saying
He's asking Jeeves.
was
You guys remember
20
Jeeves?
years ago. The second best time is today.
Is that right? Did you just Google that?
I did just Google that.
But yeah, anyways, that's what that basically means is, yeah, I mean, start today. It's never too late, but I don't know. Again, it's finding the time, and I don't know how to find the time to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one thing if he would be excited and
Want
Right.
to
be a
do
part
it,
of
I know.
You know, something else, though, you listen to a lot of podcasts. Do you have any interest in podcasting yourself? Like,
Me?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, Dan.
But I'm saying, like, start doing, like,
I do.
maybe
I would
not
love.
daily, but
Yeah, I know. Get a weekly thing out. I struggle with like what exactly do I want a podcast about? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different things I'm passionate about, but like movies, video games, even I
Right.
mean, talking news, politics, religion. But like, what would the show be? And then I get discouraged. I don't know about you guys, but I see people out there doing things. They're doing it so well, and they don't even have that great of an audience. And I'm like, I can never be as good as them because I don't have the money, and they're still only pulling in this many people. So it's like, why even bother? I don't know if you guys have ever felt
Yeah.
that way.
yeah.
I mean, I feel that a lot because there's no doubt that. Listen, when I did my internship in downtown Pittsburgh, there was a dude that was a year younger than me, and he worked with my mentor. He wasn't interning. He worked with my mentor. And I was like, okay, I mean, I understand this. I'm still in college. He's kind of out of college. He's working with my mentor because he was the intern before. So, okay, fine. I'm just trying to like rationalize it in my head so everything's fine. And then this same dude, like, I got all the respect in the world for him, and he goes out and he buys a $50,000 camera, called the Red Dragon. And I'm like, okay,
I think I might have.
well,
heard
I
of
can't do that. So he has literally a camera that can film in like 6K, and he's getting all these jobs because he has that camera. And I'm just sitting here. At the time, I didn't have one camera.
Yeah,
I'm just like, okay.
that's
You want to talk about like that was like so like I understand when I get like when you're saying you get discouraged, because I felt that there, because I was like I can't do that. And if that's how people in freelancing get jobs, then like it's about the money. Like I can't compete with that. Like I just can't.
Have you ever considered renting, like from borrow lenses, or
I did consider that
of this
but,
podcast?
But like every time I considered renting a camera,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, but what am I doing it for?
Well, no,
like,
I mean,
wanna,
like
yeah.
you could, because you've used Red before. That's
Yes.
something I would not feel comfortable renting one and knowing how to go out and use it. You've used it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about marketing yourself to companies who expect that caliber? And then if you reel one in, then rent it, build it into your cost.
I mean, I agree. Like put that into your cost, but then you have to find like companies that are willing to pay that, because if you're using a Red camera, you had to have the work that shows that what you're doing is highly professional. Because renting or even owning a Red camera and shooting with it on a actual production site shows that you're like, hey, we mean business, and like we're being paid like a hefty amount.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that is
so,
kind of
like,
funny though, because I kind of feel that sometimes when I show up with my two mirrorless cameras. I show up
right.
somewhere and people are like, "Oh, you're doing photography?" I'm like, "No, doing video." Like a lot of the general public, I feel, still doesn't understand that.
Yeah, they don't understand. But when you see like the C300, like the Canon C300 or the Red Dragon, you're like, okay, they're here to film.
Yeah,
like they're
this is
here to shoot video. And so like, but anyway, going back to what Travis was talking about, like feeling discouraged, like I felt really discouraged when like that man got a Red Dragon. Like, cool, like I'm happy for him. Like he is able to do this and further his career. That's great for him. I'm happy for him. But for me, like I just couldn't compete with that at like right now. Like at that point, I couldn't do that. I couldn't compete with him. So in another way to like not get discouraged is I had to find an alternative route to better myself, like a route that was going to work for me, which that included struggling at a movie theater job, struggling at a Planet Fitness job, and then finding my job at the Johnstown news station, which then I learned more about the news industry and how to be a photog, how to work in tight deadlines, and then get promoted to promotions, work in that environment.
You're getting
Which,
you're getting closer back to, I feel, and I could be wrong, but I think you're getting closer back to what you originally set out to do.
right.
But
So like if you're like,
it's just,
if you're feeling discouraged, you gotta like, I don't have the answer, but it's like I'm just saying what I did when I was discouraged was I just looked for an alternative route to where I can find success. If I were to start my own business in film, in video, and start my own production company, I'm not going to go to LA to start it. That would be absolutely pointless because there's so many people out there that can do a better job than I can, and that already have a head start. That whether they have a way harder work ethic than I do, they have a way better budget, they get way more money than I do. It would make more sense for me to start my own production company in a town I'm familiar with. When I feel discouraged about something, I had to try and find an alternative route to success.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit more, and not to be a motivational speaker, but I think a lot of the time people look at a situation and they're so blinded by what they can't do at that moment. For you couldn't go out and buy a red. But then, but what people don't look at is like, okay, so I can't do that right now. What can I do? And you're kind of taking the path like, okay, so I can't buy a red, but I still want to go this route. So I'm going to learn everything I can that's at my disposal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think just, focus on what you can do at any given time.
And I think that's a lot about being in like a creative industry is basically taking steps. And it's like a very fluid thing, especially like for us three, like we really don't know what the end goal is. And I think like in the creative field, you really never know what the end goal is. Like you just take steps to better yourself, to gain more experience, to act out an idea, but then you're always going to have another idea and another idea after that you want to act out, and you just can't predict where exactly you'll end up. And for you, like I'm sure you didn't realize you would end up in Johnstown working for Channel 6 News, right? But you knew you wanted to do something with video.
In a million years.
You knew you wanted to do something with video. You knew you didn't want to work at Planet Fitness, so you took that step, which if you wouldn't have taken that step, you probably wouldn't be working at a news station in Erie back at your hometown doing something that you're more passionate about. And then that step, there's probably going to be the next step for you, unless you plan on being there for the rest of your career. But there's going to be another step where you get a new set of challenges and a new set of skills in that next job, which is still probably going to be, creatively centered. But I don't know. I just think that's what's tough is it's just so fluid. And like, I have no idea. Like you said at the beginning of this show, you don't know what you want to do. You just want to be creating stuff that makes people laugh or cry or boo or whatever else. Yeah. And who knows what that is. And that could change in the next 5 years too. Like the industry is just constantly changing. Whatever industry, news, whatever creative based industry is always changing, I feel like.
No, it's always changing, and you always had to adapt to it, in which I find that like interesting. How people think, and you had to create something for how those people think.
Because I'd rather have Dan with an iPhone than
I would rather have
someone
Dan
who
too.
sucks at shooting stuff shoot with a $12,000 camera.
No, what I just thought of, I've been recently considering trying to recreate commercials that I see on TV, just to see how close I can actually come. Because there's actually the one that I had in mind is a Campbell's soup commercial where the camera's just overhead and like the bowl kind of like moves into frame and then like all the stuff moves up around it. And I thought, I feel like that's easy. I did claymation before, so it's just that stop animation.
Motion, yeah.
So I just think that would be a good idea. Plus, I think if you do enough of that and try to duplicate enough commercials, at some point I feel like if you put your work out there, someone's going to see it and say, oh, yeah, like Campbell's spent like $20,000 to make this commercial. How much did you spend?
Same exact thing.
Nothing? Oh. All right, there is the man right there.
What's up?
Hold on, I feel like...
Let me fix my hair a little bit. Oh, dude, the window back there makes like a nice glow behind me.
Yeah, it does. I like that.
Cool, and I'm digging the hair, man.
So you probably
Thank you.
No, it really, yeah.
Looks good. My hairstylist.
A lot of volume
decided
today.
to keep it long.
So this takes us to a new level. I feel like we need to start over.
All right, let's start. Oh, were we?
Start from
Was
the
that
top.
part of the show before?
Welcome back, everyone. I just actually thought of another kind of a good question for both of you.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is for myself, but when you have a project or when you have some kind of idea, what do you think your first steps are? Like, how do you start to sculpt that into what you want to make it?
So
I know
my
it's very
thing-
vague, but
Okay, so I'll try and think about like, okay, if I had to make a promo, I think of like the first thing is like, how do I want to shoot it? What do I want the shots to say? Like the story of the shots, the psychology of the shots, basically. As corny as that sounds, that's how I look at it.
that's true.
And then once I kind of get like an idea of how I do that, then I pick out like the script and the wording for it, and then I'm usually off to the races after that.
See, that's interesting because I think like I'm the exact opposite of that. I think
Are
of
you?
like, what story do I want to tell? What do I want people to say? What do I want the script to be? And then how does the video? And then I figure out how to shoot it.
Basically, what got you into photography? There we go.
That's great.
It's a good question.
Very general.
Yeah, well, I've always been, I think I used to take my mom's camera all the time and take pictures and stuff.
Real quick, by the way, Daniel Hamburg is a reporter in Harrisburg. For those,
Major news network.
yeah. Go ahead,
Yes.
Daniel.
Yes. No, I remember it when I was at my summer camp, Camp Airy in Thurmont, Maryland. I started, I forget how old I was, but started with pinhole cameras, where if you don't know what a pinhole camera is, you basically take like a tissue box or a shoe box, punch a tiny little hole in one side, and then put essentially a piece of photographic paper in the back of it, and so you expose the image for a certain amount of time. And that was actually the first way that people took photos was, with these giant, I think it was a giant wagon back in, the 1800s or something. So pretty much I started with, pinhole photography at camp, and then I got into film photography. And so I've always just been, into capturing different scenes and really just, showing people angles they don't normally see in ways they don't normally see it. And so it's cool having a background in film photography. I also took 3 years of photography in high school. So really learning on film and having to know the ins and outs of the camera, as opposed to a lot of people who just start with digital cameras. And so things like shutter speed and aperture, it might not be the first thing you learn. You throw it on auto and you just start taking pictures. So that helped me to have a real understanding of everything.
Why or how did you know that's what you wanted to do?
It's just always something. I mean, you guys know, like, everything kind of intermingles here, from the still photography aspect of things. Then I started shooting videos, really lame videos in the 2006 YouTube era where everyone was trying to make videos.
But what about it? Like,
and then
why? What about it wanted you to make video? Like, what did you enjoy about it?
I just like creating things. I think I've always, obviously, entertaining people, whether that's through a video or me being in a play or a musical or something, or delivering people the news. It's kind of like, like I said, showing people the angles that they don't typically see. And I think it's just like cool to, through still photography, you can show them, a moment in time. or a beautiful scene. Whereas in video, in video it's motion, but it's the way you edit it together that is different than what you see out of your own two eyes.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same with me. I really like the fact that even twins can take cameras out to the exact same location, shoot essentially the same whatever event that's going on, and then when you go back and edit it, no two people are going to have the same edit at the end of the day. Because it's a forced perspective that you have, that you're able to show people exactly what you saw.
Yeah, and that always interests me. The one thing I like about being, especially in a bigger market now, is, well, honestly, it's funny. Even though there's 4 stations, we're still in a split market: York, Lancaster, and Harrisburg. And so 2 of the stations are in Harrisburg. CBS 21 and ABC 27. So we actually don't run into each other a whole lot, which is weird. But it's interesting when I do the same story with another station. I always like to go back and see how they put it together. What angles they got, the way they told the story. Because you're right. You could have, if you're at a media scrum, if you will. Or like there was a story I did. This kid was getting a toy car, and so he has like special needs, and doesn't. I don't think he can talk or whatever, but he has this car that he can go around in, and so basically you have 4 cameras from all 4 stations were at this story. And you have all the photographers are right next to each other, but the way you put it together and the angles that everyone gets, while a lot of them may be the same, it's different. And so it's super interesting, especially in that kind of situation, to see what people come up with.
Yeah. No, I feel like that is the perfect answer, because I feel like that's the exact same thing that I feel too. And I just like watching to see how other people see the world. That's kind of what it boils down to. Sounds cheesy, but that's it.
Oh no, I agree, 100%.
No, but that's it. So how many other people can we add? Let's add some more people.
Kohler.
My dad's calling.
Does he have his helmet? Oh, you got rid of his helmet.
I got rid of that. I made sure you got rid of that.
Daniel, can you add Kohler?
Sure.
Oh no. That'd be a whole thing.
That would probably work too. Oh, you know who you kind of look like? Hold on a minute. Who does he look like?
If we can just look at that the entire time.
There's the
look
Kohler.
at that. Hey,
what?
there's the guy.
What's up, guys?
Oh, this is it.
Can we get Marty over
Holy
here?
cow.
What's up?
Pete, not much. I'm at work, but I don't give a
Hey, you need to come back to Johnstown.
Oh, of course. Right away. What do you want me like tonight? I
Yeah,
can get there
sure.
tonight. How you guys been though? How you been?
Good.
It's all right.
Awesome.
Rochester, New York guy.
I know I'm the Rochester boy. So now I'm back at home in my my natural environment, where I belong.
I'll tell you, that's one thing that when I got into this business like a year ago, I didn't realize how much turnover there was in there. Not necessarily turnover, but just people who move just different places all the time. But the one thing that I noticed just through watching, and I'm not saying I like creep social media, but I'll see like people post things, and yeah, Daniel's laughing about that one. But everybody seems to stay really connected though, even after they leave the station. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
There's like this sense of passion that you guys build together, and everybody just works together and works hard together.
At one point, we were all a team, and it's like that camaraderie kind of sticks with you. I mean, even today, I still like keep tabs on everybody in Johnstown, even if they're not even in Johnstown anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's one of those things like this business is so small. That's like one of the first things that, people say is like, watch what you say about other people because you never know who knows who.
Right.
You know, I literally know people across the country in all kinds of random different markets, and somebody knows somebody who knows somebody.
Right.
Ryan, I've missed you.
I can't hear Ryan.
We lost Ryan.
Are you
hear
just
us?
moving your mouth, or are you actually muted? Ryan, I can't hear you.
Reaction to what?
Typical Kohler.
Yeah, Kohler. Can we just talk about how half of Ryan Kohler's Instagram videos are him just going, he posts this like thing on Facebook about like, oh, like if you're ever bored, go to TikTok because it'll like all these people. And I'm like, Ryan, that's the videos you've been making for years. Like, cringe comps. Okay.
No, hey Ryan. On a serious note, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So honestly, I'm really excited that your camera is back from Canon, right? Right. And to see you starting to shoot again, because I don't know. When we talked before, you were really excited and wanted to do it, and that was kind of holding you back. And I said, just shoot with your phone, just do it. But now you have your camera back. I'm pumped. See you back in action.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, Dylan.
Why can't I turn this around?
Dylan, will you play some piano for us?
Don't you like this cup?
Don't talk to me before I've had my podcast. Classic.
Whoa,
Okay, what are we doing
wow.
right now?
That is so ironic.
There we go.
He is.
Hey.
Okay, so the big question is, can you hear Kohler?
I can, yes.
We can't.
Okay, it's just us.
Dylan, what got you into this mess that is called news?
Into this video chat?
No, just
Yes, into this video chat.
no.
Once you get here.
Like, what got you
Ryan,
into video or reporting or photography or any of that?
Oh, when I was a kid, I watched CNN randomly, and it was some kind of big breaking news thing, and it just hit me that was a job that people do. Like, it didn't like click for me that could be a job, and then the more I looked at it, the more I was like, oh, that's really, really what I want to do, and it just clicked for some reason.
Oh yeah. Well, did I ever tell you my favorite story that I give in interviews is that in third grade, my teacher gave me 3 index cards because she said I asked too many questions, and so I was limited to 3 questions a day. So,
Not surprised.
That was the most Daniel
Oh,
shit
there.
I've ever heard.
I'm getting
Oh, I can
Ryan
hear him
now.
now.
Oh, okay, good. Now, because I had to leave and come back, and now you can hear me.
Beautiful. Okay.
Well, I definitely asked a lot of questions as a kid too, and I remember that being a big thing, that I was always asking things and asking follow-ups on things and trying to test what people knew. So that's probably part of it too.
yeah, you just have to be a curious person to be in this business.
I never did any of that.
Yeah.
I felt like I was
get
the
out
one
the
always
business,
staring out the
man.
window trying to see a squirrel get electrocuted on the power line.
Well,
Like, that was me. So maybe that's
observation.
yeah,
Yeah.
behind the camera. That's it.
How's Erica been?
Erica's good. I saw her the other day on a story. We were both at a high school for a story.
Let's
Yeah,
find
we-
out. Let's add her to the chat.
You probably could. I don't know what she's doing. It's like 3. I don't know what she'd be doing right now. I saw her. Last time I saw her was Thursday. Usually we see each other on the weekends, like at least once.
Dylan, let me ask you this. So I'm trying to, and actually maybe I need to get back to Ryan too. When you, what's kind of, do you have an approach when you're going out to shoot a story? What are some of the things that you think of, or some of the details that you really want to convey to people?
I like people to understand what it's like to be at a certain location, because like a lot of what you know, a lot of what you miss when you're doing stories or when you're watching stories is what it actually feels like to be there. So that's important.
Wow, so
What's up?
you do this.
There you go.
I didn't know you could do this either, and then I got added.
Well, does anybody have anything to close? Because I'm like out of storage everywhere.
I would say Oklahoma is okay.
Oklahoma
Visit
is
Oklahoma.
okay.
I hate you.
Visit Oklahoma. That's on our license plate. So
Come and
Oklahoma.
visit. Dylan and I have lots of space. Everybody come visit.
I have a lot of extra
Harrisburg is popping.
sleep here.
I don't know. Oklahoma might be better.
I don't know. I
Don't
like
come to
Dylan's
Erie.
pad. It looks pretty nice.
It's very cool.
Until the summer when it's like 110 and you die.
In the summer, yeah, we all.
I hate the
Now,
heat.
Erica, you're gonna come.
Oh, hey, Dan, reminder.
Yeah.
You have literally like a year's worth of Snapchats from me.
Oh yeah, I am going to make a video of that. Yes.
Wow.
Because I'm pretty sure like every couple of weeks I forget that you still haven't opened it and I send you something else.
It was nice to talk to and see the people that I worked with at Johnstown. It was nice to talk to you guys. Like Travis said, he enjoys going in every day and working with the people that he works with.
I didn't say that, just to be clear. I did not say that.
You said something like
I
that.
know. Don't put words in my
And-
mouth, Colton.
I really did enjoy working with the people we just chatted with, and it's good to see them. It's good to see that they're doing well and they're working their ass off.
I just want to reiterate what you said, Colton. It's like, you might not like where you work, but it is just great to be around like-minded people and seeing everyone be successful and taking the next steps and pursuing their creativity and what they're passionate about. And like you said, maybe the area and the workplace isn't necessarily what you wanted to do, but you're around great people who think similarly to you, and I think that's really I don't know, empowering. I don't know, I get energy from that.
Yeah, no, it is empowering, and it's nice to be able to go to work and be like, I enjoy working with you, like having that mindset, and it just makes the day easier.
Yeah,
having good people to work with like that.
Okay, the work is hard, and maybe not the most enjoyable, but the people make it
But
okay.
yeah.